Hey, did you ever make it out to Cherry Point for that graduation? Did you ever make it? Did you have anybody there to support you if you were graduating? Anybody tell you to stop and smell the roses? Have you ever done that? Have you actually ever stopped long enough to smell the roses? Does it haunt you? Does it do that thing where it registers a memory via olfaction? And then later, when you smell roses, maybe it reminds you of that specific event. Maybe you think about it. It can be really difficult if people get your MOS mixed up, huh? And you're supposed to be in the law, but they think, what, you're psyops? Or maybe the other way around, right? Did you ever make it to Cherry Point? Yeah. We've got a situation coming up. And here's the problem. This time, about 2 years ago, I tried to go through a process of self education in order to recertify in non destructive testing. And I had everything I needed. And I had a curriculum and I had course set up. And if I'm not mistaken, I anticipated it was going to take 4 weeks and then there was going to be another 4 weeks. So in 8 weeks, I was going to be able to do the self study that I needed to do. And at the time, the library was publicly accessible, so I could go to the library. But within 3 days, it was very obvious that was not going to be allowed to happen. Despite the fact that the library of concern was aboard a university, presumably an American university, there was this weird sort of underwriting as if it was Chinese. And they didn't want me recertifying on Chinese standards. Now, my understanding is on October 4th of this year, there was supposed to be a court case in Brooklyn. Presumably, a judge, or rather a justice from Brooklyn, was accused of fraud involving her membership on the board of directors of a credit union. And at least as it's reported right now, it also involves a retired New York police officer. I'm sure because you guys have been very fastidious in making sure you've maintained contacts with the appropriate other units that you necessarily would have to be in contact with, that you understand I am fully aware of the implications of the date, October 4th, 2021, as another one of those 2-year time periods that thus far nobody's responded to since it actually got set up. And I'm sure you're also very, very aware of the literal material implications it has for you, your future, and your retirement, right? So I already know you're hard at work on it, and I already know you are aware that there was a case out of Brooklyn concerning a judge, presumably on the take, bribe taken, fixing cases regarding cold-blooded killers. And there was a setup where they attempted to lure somebody into a situation to compel them to answer for accusations they'd taken a bribe aboard a military installation. See, there's very significant jurisdictional considerations when civilians decide that they're going to do things like it has some sort of implication as if it's the military, and the military refuses to acknowledge how very disappointing that is. It's exactly the circumstances we're dealing with now. If you're actually in Cherry Point, you actually might have a more applicable jurisdiction, including one of those considerations regarding cognizable interest and its relationship to considerations of sovereign immunity. I hope you rise to the challenge, and I hope you don't mistake something as Chinese when it in fact is not.